Nearly a year after floods claimed the lives of more than 400 people in the province, Build One SA leader Mmusi Maimane is visiting the province. He's in KZN to assess if any progress has been made in rebuilding the infrastructure damage caused by the floods. Senior Reporter Dasen Thathiah is there and joins us now for the very latest. Dasen, of course, earlier we spoke about the fact that work had started despite or before the 1.5 billion rand was channeled to the province for relief efforts. What are some of the other developments that have emerged this morning as Mmusi Maimane engages different stakeholders in the province?
Well, Rafiwa, the delegation has now moved to the eThekwini Northern Wastewater Treatment Works. And I can tell you, just driving along the road, getting here, you can already get a strong smell of sewage. You see that the road has wastewater all over it. Residents here also seemingly frustrated. You know, we have covered these stories for a while now, and there is a sense of frustration over the condition of not just the area they're living in, but also the roads. So the leadership of BOSA has come here to get a sense of how big the problem is. Remember, this is one of the issues that they intend to champion as they try to build up support in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. In fact, I'm joined now by the provincial leader or chairperson, Tokozo Biela. Thank you so much for joining me, sir. I think let's start by talking about the visit here. Obviously, we know that the sewage crisis is a massive issue. We've also seen litigation from other parties, for example. How do you think you are going to add value to this fight? Do you think more litigation is the answer, or what's up your sleeve?
Thank you so much, Dasen. I think what we are planning to do as BOSA, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, is to amplify the message or put our voice on top of every other voice that other parties have actually raised regarding what you see here. I mean, we were walking here, we had to cross raw sewage. It's very sad to see young kids, living in this particular, area where they have to cross sewage every day of their life. So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing a combination of things where we will be doing a litigation, but also mobilizing the ground force so that we get these infrastructure fixed.
Other priorities during this time, because, I mean, you still have some way to go before you get into government, as is your intention. But in the interim, what are you going to do, I mean, to actually take up this fight? Because seemingly that's what it's about, right? If I listened to the press conference earlier.
Yeah, what we are doing is we will be moving into every municipality, district, wards, and working with the community leaders to find a solution to this. I'm sure there is an interim solution that you can find in the meanwhile while we engage our fight in the courts, or we engage, in a number of other avenues to try and fix this. We are not yet a government, who is in parliament, but we are a government in working. So what we plan to do is to showcase what we can do even before we come into government. So we urge every community member to join us as we build One South Africa, but also to just make sure that we create a KwaZulu-Natal or a South Africa that our kids can flourish in.
You know that you're also coming in at a time when residents are highly frustrated over a number of issues. So yours is not an easy task by any means. And I know that you've been talking about the fact that you're not politicians, for example. But I think for the residents during a time like this, they would want to see action. They want to see things being done. What tangible measures are you going to take? For example, let's look at crime.
Yeah.
You're talking about crime, and your leader also spoke about making those changes.
Right.
But those, even when you are potentially in government, those are long-term solutions. What are the more immediate types of measures or solutions that you're offering residents?
I think nobody can solve crime without the involvement of the community. I happen to come from a small town called Ngutu, KwaLuvisi. We've been plagued by crime, but the community started to stand up and galvanize to uproot crime. and crime was defeated. Now, I believe that if we engage the communities, engage the community policing forums, and also the private security cluster to join forces with the SAPS, we can defeat crime. Crime can be defeated by the people who live in the community. We must not only expect that government is going to be the one that eradicates crime. The community members, the community leaders must stand up and forge a unity, a unit that will fight crime.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Biela. I appreciate it. That was the provincial leader of BOSA here in KwaZulu-Natal. Rafiwa, I can tell you that just from the introduction of the provincial leadership structure a short while ago, the party seems to be aiming at, as it says, not introducing politicians, but people that are going to offer a practical value to the organization. There's still a long way to go. Right now, there seems to be a lot of optimism within the party, but ultimately, we're going to have to watch to see how residents take to this. As I mentioned to the leader here, there is a lot to deal with in this province, crime, and crime being top of that list, definitely.
And hopefully, as a provincial leadership, Dasen, they are able to make the changes that they want to see in those various communities. And as they say, put aside this politicking, because they are not politicians. They are members of the community that are going to initiate some form of change. Thank you very much, Senior Reporter Dasen Thathiah, joining us out in KZN today, following the Build One South Africa movement, as they look at how the flood damage has been dealt with and what more needs to be done to restore the dignity of communities in KZN.